Good morning, good evening, good day. Wherever you are, I hope the Lord is showering you with blessings. As you know, I'm a prepper, and as you know, I believe we're in the last days. Today, when I was doing my devotionals, something popped in my head. I was like, oh, there's some connections here. We can see where things are fitting together. And these are things that might prepare us for these last days. Because as you know, as a prepper, we look at what's going on today, we make an assessment, and we prepare for tomorrow. Let's start in Matthew 24. Jesus was sitting on the Mount of Olives, and he was doing some teachings, and one of the things was about the temple, and Jesus says, well, I tell you what, that temple, not one stone is going to be on top of the other. And this was shocking to them, as it would be as if there was a guru or somebody teaching, and then he points at the Twin Towers, and this is the year 2000 or something like that, and he says, I tell you with truth, those two buildings, they're coming down. Right? It'd be like, whoa, what are you talking about? And this is Jesus, the Messiah, the Son of God, saying this, so it's not some kind of kook. This is really going to happen. So the disciples say to him, when's this going to happen? And when is the coming of the end of the age? First thing Jesus says, verse 4, watch out that no one deceives you. Boy, we need that today, right? We need to be on our guard. There are so many false teachings going on today. There's so much deception. That those of us that are believers, it's like, man, and there are so many people that are falling for it. It's just clearly unbiblical, clearly unchristian. It's clearly not what Christ teaches. And people are just like, love is love. Love is love, right? And I've seen so many just disgusting, blasphemous things about Jesus online. And you look at it and you're like, and it's these things, these people think it's accurate. They think it's true. Oh, Jesus would be fine with this. No, he would not. Watch out that no one deceives you. For many will come in my name claiming, I am the Messiah, and will deceive many. You will hear of wars and rumors of wars, but see to it that you're not alarmed. Such things must happen, but the end is still yet to come. So we can see there, lots of deception, lots of false prophets. You will hear of wars and rumors of wars. Kind of got that going on now, don't we? But we're not to be alarmed. These things are going to happen before the end, right? The end is still yet to come. So before the end, this kind of stuff's going to happen. Nation will rise against nation and kingdom against kingdom, right? The nation of Russia, the nation of Ukraine, the nation of China, the nation of America, the nation of England, the nation of France. All of these nations are rising against each other. Kingdom against kingdom. The kingdom of God, kingdom of man. Getting ready to clash right now. There will be famines and earthquakes in various places. We kind of have a global famine going on right now, don't we? Have you seen your grocery bill? Right? We're a wealthy nation. So we can afford the food, but those poor nations, they're starving. Right? There's a huge global famine going on. And in the Western world, it's going to get worse this summer. Going to be more people going hungry. Yeah. And there are thousands starving to death in the poorer nations right now. Earthquakes in various places. Well, we just had one in Turkey, and there has been several in Israel right now. All these are the beginnings of birth pains. So all this stuff going on that we're seeing right now are the beginnings of the birth pains, the birth of his kingdom. Right? All this stuff has to happen before he returns and sets up his kingdom. That's a icon of Jesus right there on the throne, the king of heaven and soon to be king of earth. Coming in glory and in power. Hallelujah. I can't wait. Then you will be handed over to be persecuted and put to death. Remember the seals in Revelation? The first seal, the white horse. Second seal, war. Third seal, famine. Fourth seal, death. Right, we got all that going on right now, right? Beginning of the birth pains. And what's the fifth one? Persecution, martyrdom. Right? They opened the fifth seal, and you saw the souls underneath the altar, the martyrs. That's happening around the world, beginning to happen in the Western world. Seeing news reports of churches being burnt down and priests being shot. An ongoing trend. Christians in the Western world are starting to get targeted. All right, it's coming. It's coming. I think we're at the fourth right now. The fifth, going to be open soon. We're going to be persecuted. We're going to be martyred. And we need to prep for that. We need to prepare. That's the purpose of this video. The great falling away. We can see here, at that time many will turn away from the faith and betray and hate each other. And many false prophets will appear and deceive many people. So, that's coming. That's the next thing to come. The great falling away. And that's what we need to prep for, right? Because of the increase of wickedness, the love of most will grow cold. Boy, we see that too. People are getting more and more wicked and more cold. But the one who stands firm to the end will be saved. That's it. We need to stand to the end. That's what we want. We want to stand to the end and be saved. This is coming. It's right at the door. So we need to prep for it. We need to prepare. How do we prepare? Well, let's go to 2 Timothy chapter 3. Now this tells more of what the people in the end times are going to be like. This is your average student in high school. This is your average adult right now, right today. This is our culture. But mark this, there will be terrible times in the last days. We're seeing terrible times. People will be lovers of themselves, lovers of money, boastful, proud. Right? Pride parades, proud. I'm this and I'm proud. Abusive, disobedient to their parents. Yeah. Ungrateful, unholy, without love, unforgiving, slanderous, without self-control. All right? I want my nuggets now. Oh, you're making me wait 5 minutes for my chicken nuggets? Trash your restaurant. All right? Without self-control. Brutal. Not lovers of the good. Treacherous. Rash. Conceited. Lovers of pleasure rather than lovers of God. Oh, what was it we saw in the Grammys? A bunch of half-naked women dressed up like demons and some dorky-looking dude in a devil costume dancing and talking. And, you know, I saw a video of somebody talking about that, and they were showing clips. And this lady in the clip, right, and the guy's all red and sticking his tongue out, you know, and being stupid. And this lady went up on her hands, her legs spread right across, and he's on top right where her vagina is, almost like her nether regions was his altar. You know, and it's like, that's pretty wicked. Yeah. But this is what people are today. Lovers of pleasure rather than lovers of God. Yeah. Most people I know, they love pleasure more than they love anything else. Having a form of godliness but denying its power. All right? Yeah. Have nothing to do with such people. We are to witness to them. We are to try to win them over to Christ. But prep number one, have nothing to do with them. Now, they're going to want to lead you astray. They're going to want to entice you and tempt you to be boastful, proud, abusive, to love pleasure more than love God. Right? It's just, makes me think of, there was a verse somewhere, I'm riffing this part, about Lot and Sodom and Gomorrah and how much living in such a wicked environment weighed him down, messed him up. I can't remember the verse off the top of my head, but it's just like, yeah, I can see it. It's just more and more just seeing what's going on and interacting with people, and just the arrogance and the, oh, love is love, and it's like, no, it's not. That's disgusting. Here's some more. Verse 6. They are the kind who worm their way into homes and gain control over gullible women, who are loaded down with sins and are swayed by all kinds of evil desires, always learning, but never able to come to the knowledge of the truth. Yeah. Yeah, it's people are using each other. They're worming their way into each other's homes. They are loaded down with sins. I see this so much. People just so much. It doesn't even register that anything they do is wrong. They're always learning, but never able to come to the knowledge of the truth. Isn't that the internet age? The age of deceit, the age of deception today. Everybody is always learning something, always online, picking up more and more and more, but nobody's able to come to the truth. They are men of depraved minds who, as far as the faith is concerned, are rejected. They are rejected. They are depraved. They have depraved minds. I seen the other day a video. I mean, I watch. I try to keep prepared. I try to watch, watch and pray, watch and pray. I am trying to reduce my screen time, though, because I think I'm watching a little too much and I need to pray more. But that's me. And one of them was this preacher going out, and he was like, Jesus is transgender. Jesus is gay. And just in my heart, I was just like, whoa. This dude's storing up some serious wrath. That guy right there on the throne, he's coming to judge. Judge not, lest ye be judged yourself. Well, guess what? In context, yeah, you do judge. Don't be a hypocrite. That's what the context of the passage is. You're going to be judged by the standard you judge others. So, like, if somebody's committing adultery and you're like, that's wrong, then don't commit adultery yourself. Right? Judge not, lest you be judged. If you're judging somebody for committing adultery, and you are too, you're going to be judged for that. That's the context of the passage. Secondly, that person right there is the judge. Right? He's judging all of us because he's perfect. And he can do that. And you start insulting and saying things that are disgusting about him, you're storing up wrath because he's going to judge you for those words. Oh, that's scary. I mean, God forgive us for such kind of things. But yeah, that person is somebody of a depraved mind. And as far as the faith is concerned, as far as us believers, that guy's rejected. He's rejected. We've got that going on today. These are the last days. The great falling away is right at the door, and we need to prepare for it. How do we prepare? Well, number one, have nothing to do with such people. Okay, if you're hanging out with, Jesus hung out with sinners, Jesus hung out with sinners. He didn't hang out with them. He hung out with his disciples. He reached out to sinners. He had dinner with them and witnessed to them and told them about the kingdom of God. But he wasn't just, let's go for a walk, guys, and let's go to this restaurant, or let's go, he wasn't spending time with them as far as friends with them. He was spending time with them as far as witnessing to them, trying to introduce them to the kingdom of God. Right? So that's what we are to do. We are to be like Jesus, where he's our example. Right? We spend time witnessing to people, but as far as those that we are trustful with and we are friends with and all that, no, have nothing to do with those people. Only be friends with people of God. That's number one. Now, for the next, this is kind of an interesting thread, and I think it shows exactly how to prepare for that hour that we are all called for, and that is to carry our cross. We're going to start Matthew chapter 16, verse 21. From that time on, Jesus began to explain to his disciples that he must go to Jerusalem and suffer many things at the hands of the elders, chief priests, and the teachers of the law, and that he must be killed, and on the third day be raised to life. Jesus is telling his disciples that, right? I'm going to get killed, guys. Don't worry, the third day I'm going to be rose to life. Peter took him aside and began to rebuke him. Right? Peter's rebuking Jesus, right? It's like, whoa, man, this is, you don't do that. But Peter wasn't in the right mind, right? He wasn't thinking straight. Peter says, "Never, Lord, this shall never happen to you." And Jesus turned to him and said, "Get behind me, Satan." That's huge. It's not only a great rebuke, kind of like a slap in the face, and Peter like, whoa. But I think Satan was influencing him at that time. I really do. And I'll show you more where this really shows what's going to happen in the spiritual realm while we're doing this, right? While we're going through this. So, Jesus says, "You are a stumbling block to me. You do not have in mind the concerns of God, but merely human concerns." Right? You're not thinking about the things of God. You're thinking about the things of man. Then Jesus said to his disciples, this is key, "Whoever wants to be my disciple must deny themselves." Remember all that stuff earlier about people loving themselves and being boastful, being proud, and following their flesh? Deny yourself. That's key. That's number 2. Deny yourself. That's hard. That's why during Lent you're supposed to fast, which I'm guilty. I'm not fasting on a regular. No. I see something in the store or online that I want. It plays on my mind. I want to buy it, right? There's times when we need to deny ourselves. There's times when I go to pray and I'm like, I'm tired. I don't want to pray. I just want to veg out in front of the TV for a while. Had a bad day. You got to deny yourself. Take up their cross and follow me. Whatever sacrifice that you have to make for Christ, you pick it up and you follow him. We all have to make that sacrifice. And if this truly is the last days and we're hurtling towards the great falling away, it might be a literal cross that you got to take up to follow him, right? Whatever it is, you got to take it up and follow him. You have to deny yourself. For whoever wants to save their life will lose it. But whoever loses their life for me will find it. That's the next one. Don't have anything to do with those people. Deny yourself. Take up your cross and follow Jesus. Whatever sacrifice, pick it up and follow him. Lose your life. If you're trying to hold on to your life, you're not going to pick up that cross. Right? If you're thinking about myself and my flesh and my life, you're going to have something to do with those people because they're going to be offering you all kinds of stuff. Right? And if you're faced with that, you're one of them, aren't you? You're one of them Christians. And you love your life? I don't know the man. I'm telling you. I don't know him. Right? Let's continue this now. Luke chapter 22. So we're going to focus a little bit on Peter. Right? Because Peter is such a great example. I mean, thankfully, Peter turned. I mean, he was martyred for Christ, okay? He learned his lesson. So we can follow what he did so we know what not to do, and we can see what Jesus did and how Jesus tried to help prepare him. And then we can learn from Christ what to do. So We go to Luke 22, verse 24. It's the Last Supper. Jesus is doing the Eucharist. My brain's getting a little slow here. He's instituting the Eucharist. He's instituting Holy Communion, right? His body, his blood. It's a sacred moment. It's the new covenant, right? And in verse 24, we see a dispute also arose among them as to which of them was considered to be the greatest. Right? So their mind was not on the things of God. At this moment, it was on the things of man. They weren't thinking about taking up the cross and following Jesus. They were thinking about hanging out with the Gentiles of, I'm going to be a king. I'm going to have lots of money, lovers of money, boastful, proud, right? I'm the greatest. I am. Right? Their mind was on the things of man. And Jesus says, you're not to be like that. Verse 26, instead, the greatest among you should be the least. The one who rules needs to be like the one who serves. So Jesus is trying to put their mind back on the things of God. You're not to be like the Gentiles. You're not to be like a ruler. You're to be like a servant. Go down to verse 31, and Jesus says, Simon, Simon, Simon Peter, the one who denies him, Satan has asked to sift you as wheat. Before earlier he says, get behind me, Satan. Right? Satan has been trying to sift Peter. Satan is putting Peter's mind on the things of man and not on the things of God. But what did Jesus say? He says, well, I prayed for you, Simon. Prayer? Yeah, we need to be praying. We need to be watching and praying. I've prayed for you that your faith may not fail. Oh, maybe we should pray that our faith doesn't fail. And when you have turned back, strengthen your brothers. And Jesus knows you're going to turn back. When you do, strengthen your brothers, right? We don't want this happening to people. Strengthen them. But Peter says, Lord, I'm ready to go with you to prison and to death. Right? And that's what, we all want to do, right? Oh, if somebody, told me to deny Christ or they would kill me, I am going to say no, right? I mean, we all want to boast. Again, who's going to be? I'm going to be the greatest because I will be the one that stands with Jesus while everyone else falls away, right? Pride. Puffed up with pride. I'm going to be super Christian, right? All you guys, you're regular apostles. But me, I'm super apostle. Jesus has his throne and he's going to give me a little throne, right? We all have that pride in us. Lord, I'm ready to go with you to prison and to death. And Jesus says, I tell you, Peter, before the rooster crows today, you will deny me 3 times. Right? If you're puffed up on pride and you're thinking, oh, that's no problem. That's a no-brainer for me. When the moment comes, think about what happened to Jesus. Right? You go down and you've got where they go to grab Jesus and Peter pulls out a sword and lops off somebody's ear. Right? Because Peter's, we're coming into the kingdom and I'm going to get my throne by chopping off somebody's ear. Right? I'm not going to deny you. Right? And Jesus says, put away your sword. Heals the guy's ear. Right? Peter must have been like, holy crap, I lopped his ear off, and instead of Jesus wiping him out and setting up his kingdom, he's healing the ear? Oops, sorry about that, my bad. So, and then Peter follows him because, he's confused. He's confused. He's thinking that there's going to be some kind of revolution, and I'm going to get my little throne, things of man. And Jesus is getting beaten and mocked. And he's taking it. He's not wiping them out. All of this is going on. His brain is spinning, right? He's confused because his mind has been on the things of man. And then somebody points at him and says, "Hey, I know you. You're one of his disciples. You're one of them." And Peter is like, "I am too confused and too freaked out to deal with this. I don't know him. I'm still figuring this out. I don't know him. No." Somebody else, "Hey, no, you're one of them, right? Oh crap. They're going to grab me and drag me next to them, and I'm going to get beaten and whipped and mocked and spit on. I don't know him." And then a third one, "Oh crap, okay, I just got to get out of here. I don't know him. Get out of my way." And then the rooster crows, right? And if we are not prepared, if I'm not prepared, that'll happen to me. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. If I'm not prepared, yeah. And it's scary when you realize, I'm just like Peter. Right? And I'm not saying that in a boastful way, because Peter was an apostle. He was one of the chosen, But I'm like him in that I'm human. Okay? I get freaked out. I have moments when I'm stressed out and I'm confused and I just want to get away. And I don't want to fail, but I don't want to fail this test. When this happens in real life, I want to be ready. I want to be ready. I don't want to deny him. And these are the end days. Right? So when this happens, it happened to Peter. Peter was forgiven, restored to the flock. Jesus elevated him and made him a leader, right? But these are the last days. So when this happens, you're probably going to get the mark, right? That's probably what's going to happen. Oh, you're one of those believers? You're one of those that won't take the mark? Off to the concentration camp with you, right? And if you're not ready, you get that mark, it's too late. There's no second chance. There's no forgiveness when you get the mark. So Jesus tells Peter, "You're going to deny me." Shortly after that, they go to the Mount of Olives to pray. Jesus said to them, "Pray that you will not fall into temptation." Right? And I believe the temptation he's referring to is the one that Peter gives into, to denying Jesus. Right? The temptation to hold on to your life, to not take up your cross, to try to preserve your life and then lose it. Pray that you will not fall into temptation. And then Jesus kneels down to pray. "Father, if you're willing, take this cup from me. Yet not my will, but yours be done." That's our prayer. That's the prayer of everybody who has to take up their cross and follow him. Because it's not easy. It's taking up your cross and following him is not, I got to tell the truth. I can't lie anymore. Right? It's like, no, that's something you're supposed to do. This is a sacrifice. This isn't just holy living, but this is the sacrifice that you have to make. This is what you have to deny yourself. This is what you have to pick up and follow Jesus. Whatever sacrifice he's asking you to make. So when that day comes and you see it, right, you're watching and you're praying and you see it's here. Right? For me, when that train derailed in Ohio, that's when I'm like, okay, God's judgment's here. Okay, I knew it was coming and I was suspecting that it's here, the inflation and different things going on. I'm like, yeah, we're getting judged. I seen that tanker and it's like in eastern Palestine. It's like, yeah, it's here. It's here. We're having drought. We're having famine. And now we've got chemicals that are destroying our farmland, destroying wildlife. Yeah, it's here. His judgment's here. And what's going to happen is we're going to be sitting there, we're going to be watching, we're going to be praying, and we're going to be like, okay, it's here. The time to take up our cross and follow is here. It's now. Jesus wakes them up. Verse 46, why are you sleeping? Get up and pray so that you will not fall into temptation. Once again, we are not to sleep. We are to watch and pray. And then what I find interesting is that when Jesus he'd fasted 40 days, he was tempted by Satan, right, fall into temptation, and God strengthened him afterwards with angels, sent angels to strengthen him. And in Matthew, you see that after Jesus got done praying, it says that God sent angels to strengthen him. And so when we fast, when we pray, God will send us angels to strengthen us, to help us carry our cross and follow Christ. So let's go. We're going to finish with this. Revelations chapter 12, verse 7. Then war broke out in heaven. Michael and his angels fought against the dragon, and the dragon and his angels fought back, but he was not strong enough. Yeah, metal, right? Isn't that awesome? Satan is not strong enough. They lost their place in heaven. The great dragon was hurled down, that ancient serpent called the devil or Satan, who leads the whole world astray, was hurled to the earth, and his angels with him. Yeah, Michael kicked his butt. Kick it one time for me, Michael. Then I heard a loud voice in heaven saying, now have come the salvation and the power and the kingdom of our God and authority of his Messiah. For the accuser of our brothers and sisters, who accuses them before God day and night, has been hurled down. All right? Satan's in heaven right now, bad talking us, accusing us. And eventually God says, enough, Michael, get this guy out of here. And Michael takes him and throws him to the earth, right? Now, when Satan sees that, he knows his time is short. So he goes to set up his kingdom. And it says here, they triumphed over him by the blood of the Lamb, by the word of their testimony, and they did not love their lives so much as to shrink from death. So this is the final prep. When the great falling away gets here, when the persecution gets here, when the time comes when we got to carry our cross and lose our life, how do we overcome Satan influencing Peter to put his mind on the things of man and not on the things of God? And Jesus rebukes him, get behind me, Satan. Right? That was Satan that was influencing Peter. Satan who asked God, I want to sift Peter like wheat. And God said yes. Right? God said, okay. And Satan was allowed to sift Peter. And now we see God take Satan and throws him to the earth. And now Satan's going to sift us. And God's going to let him. Because if we don't think that God's going to let Satan sift us, that means our mind is not on the things of God, but on the things of this world. Like Peter. Right? Peter didn't take it seriously, even after Jesus said, Satan wants to sift you, but I've prayed for you. Peter still did not watch and pray. He slept because his mind was on the things of man and not on the things of God. We are going to get sifted. I am going to get sifted. Well, how do we overcome that? By the blood of the Lamb, by the word of their testimony. They did not love their lives so much as to shrink from death. Blood of the Lamb. The blood of the Lamb cleans us from sin. It washes us. Are you washed in the blood? Are you washed in the blood of the Lamb? Are your garments spotless? Are they white as snow? Right? Well, we've seen earlier in 2 Timothy, have nothing to do with such people. Right? Flee from sin. Get away from sin. Keep yourself pure. Watch and pray. Right? If we are continually going to God and saying, God, forgive me. Right? God, I've got this pride in me. I'm loving my life. I'm boastful. God, help me. Please forgive me. Wash me with your blood. Keep me clean. The word of their testimony. Well, Peter denied him, right? He tried to hide. No, I don't know him. Right? The word of their testimony. No, we need to be vocal. You know, the devil uses people around us to be like, yeah, I knew this person and they witnessed all the time, told me about Jesus, and that's why I'm not a Christian. Really? The reason why you're not a Christian is because somebody told you about Jesus? No. We need to tell people about Jesus. Satan will have them say that stuff as an excuse to try to get you to shut your mouth. No. No, my friend. We need to have a testimony and to spread our testimony of what Jesus has done for us. Finally, they did not love their lives so much as to shrink from death. We need to prepare our hearts to let go. It's easier for those of us that are getting older as our bodies start breaking down. My hip's been bothering me all day. I think I got some arthritis in my hip. And I had some x-rays done years ago, and they said my hip's a little twisted and a little tilted. And so, yeah, it hurts. It hurts. I got to stretch all the time, and if I'm not stretching every day, it gets sore on me. And I'm tired. I've been working my whole life. I've been dealing with depression, anxiety, and PTSD, and it's just done wore me out. And the thought of somebody saying, deny Christ or die, and it's just like, yeah, please, please, this body's wearing out. I'm ready to go home, you know. But when I was younger, and for the younger folk out there, and you're full of life, full of energy, and the world is so new and so exciting, get ready to let go of it, man. Open your eyes to the wickedness around you and see it for what it is and how corrupt and disgusting it is. Put your eyes on Jesus, the author and perfecter of our faith, and realize the beauty of his kingdom that he's bringing in. And the sooner you're martyred, the sooner you're going to be there, and the sooner all this mess is over. Put your mind on Jesus. Don't love your life so much as to shrink from death. Take up your cross and follow him. It's just for a little while, and then we enter into his rest. One way. That guy right there. That's the only way to save your life.